So not many people know this, but every single time you swipe your card in a business, there are actually multiple entities getting paid on that transaction. So the first one, and most obvious, is going to be the business owner getting their money for that sale. But there's also a processor, which is a company that's actually moving the funds from one account to another that's collecting a percentage of each transaction. And then there are middlemen, which are basically just people like me who connected that business with the processor, and the processor rewards them by giving them a cut of every single transaction as well. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how the payment processing industry works and how I was able to leverage that opportunity to build up over $20,000 in monthly residual income. And by the way, that's like 99% passive. I may be working an hour and a half a week to earn that type of money. So I went ahead and started this out just by putting a couple of my bank statements. I just switched my bank account to row, so this is all I have for this one, but this is the residual report right here for over $22,000. And here's the deposit notification. Here it actually is in my account. Then the month before that, we can see it was $21,000. Here is right in my bank account. And same thing month before that, 22,000 right in my bank account here. So payment processing is a very different type of industry. You can't just go to a POS system wholesaler, buy a bunch of them, put them in businesses and get a percentage. It doesn't really work like that. So we're going to start here with the foundations, the basics you need to learn, how to find clients, and then ultimately how to scale. So as we talked about, there are a few people involved on every single transaction. So first you have the customer here processing their card on a sale. That money is going to be processed by the processor, of course. And the processor, these are massive multi-billion-dollar corporations that are doing these. If you start a payment processing company, you're not becoming the actual processor. You are just becoming somebody that sells payment processing for a processor. Now, on that transaction, the processor is going to charge a 2 to 4% fee before giving the money to the merchant. And the merchant is just the business owner. That 2 to 4% fee is composed of a couple different things. So first, you have interchange fees. And this is essentially what Visa, Amex, MasterCard, Discover, that's their pinch of the transaction. That's what they charge business owners for accepting their card and for the convenience of it. There are over 400 different categories of interchange, but just as a general rule of thumb, for regular low risk restaurant retail businesses, you can estimate that the interchange is overall going to come out to about 2 to 2.5%. So interchange you can think of as the cost on each transaction for us. Then we have the processing fees, which is where the profit comes into play for us. Like we talked about, the processor is going to keep a percentage of those fees, right? Because we're almost like a referral agency for them. It wouldn't be in their interest to give us 100% of it. So they keep a pinch of that, and then they give us a pretty good amount as well. Now, with interchange, we have no control over what these fees are. That's set by Visa, Amex, MasterCard, Discover. We have no way around those. So if you price somebody at zero, you would actually theoretically lose money. So there is a lowest point that you can go to. However, where we can kind of negotiate and change things up is in the actual processing fees. So let's say their overall fees are 3.5%. We could bring that down to maybe as low as 2.5% if we wanted to just break even on the account. But ultimately, processors, they don't actually want to be the ones doing the sales. They just want to handle the back end, the technology side of it, and even customer support as well. They just don't want to build out their whole sales teams, the whole processes, and everything that entails. They basically just outsource it. And that's exactly what created this entire industry. So like I said, if you wanted to go out and do this yourself, you couldn't just go to a wholesaler, buy a bunch of POS systems, and then go sell them to businesses. It's more complicated than that. You have to get an agreement with an ISO. So an ISO is an independent sales organization. So as an ISO, what we do is we go to the processor, we negotiate an agreement with them, which is basically like the rev share that ends up with you getting paid. And then we go out and sign up businesses. So if you wanted to do this, you would have to go to an ISO, because if you went directly to the processor, they're just going to tell you to screw off because you're brand new to the industry, you have no track record, and you basically have no leverage. So you're just going to get a terrible split if you get anything at all with them. Also, if you want to become a full-blown registered ISO, you would need about $10,000 to register with each one of these card brands. You're best off going to an ISO and becoming an ISA, which is an independent sales agent. So this is kind of where it gets tricky with this industry, because you need to find somewhere that, one, is going to give you a lot of support and pay you a lot of residual. So what I've broken down here is, like, typically there are two types of ISOs, right? The very first one is going to be the type of place that supports you, helps you, trains you, But because they do all that for you, you don't get a ton of residual with them. Like they may only give you 30% of the residual from your deals. The other type of place, the second type of ISO, it's the type of place that you might be able to make 70% with them, but they don't help you at all. They'll just be like, cool, have fun and good luck. And that doesn't tend to end well. So you really need to find the best of both worlds with that. It can be a pretty tough process, but just keep looking. There are some options out there, although they are limited. Once you find the right ISO, you get a good Schedule A, a good agreement with them in place, then you got to go learn the basics. Don't just go out there and randomly start trying to close people. It doesn't work very well. So a couple things you got to know here: the fee structures, the sales process, onboarding, and management, what all that looks like. So just as a quick kind of overview with them, fee structures, you have a ton of different options. We have interchange, which is basically the basis of everything, which we had already spoken about. And then we have a pricing structure with that. It's called interchange plus pricing, where on each transaction, it's a small flat markup on top of interchange. So their overall effective rate will actually fluctuate month to month, depending on what types of cards they get. We have a true flat rate where you just say, all right, no matter what cards you get, doesn't matter if it's an Amex Black or just a Bank of America debit card, we're going to put you right at 3%. So no matter what, it's going to be that. And if you do that and they happen to get higher interchange cards than the rate that you set them on, you would actually lose money that month theoretically. So considerations there as well. Now you also have the flat rate plus a per transaction fee. So that would be like what Square does, where they say, okay, we're 2.6% plus 15 cents a transaction. So that is another option. And then you have surcharge and cash discount. So surcharge is essentially passing on a 3% fee to customers that choose to pay with credit card. Now it's important to note with that they're capped at 3%. And they can only do it to credit cards, not debit cards. And then we have cash discount, which is the most beautiful thing this industry has ever seen. It makes it significantly more lucrative. This is how you can make like 1.5% on their total volume. So essentially what cash discount does is gets around the rules and regulations set in place for surcharges. So instead of saying, okay, we're passing on an extra fee, what you do is you say, hey, Mr. Business Owner, let's raise your prices by 4%. And then if the customer pays with cash, they get a 4% discount, bringing it back to the original price. So effectively, what that does is you're still passing on the fee without passing on the fee. So it kind of skirts those regulations and sets it up to where you can save the business owner tons and tons of money, and where we can make a lot more money. So selling cash discount, that's how you can build up a lot of money very quickly. And if we go back over here, that's what all of my accounts are for the most part, is cash discounts. So if you want to earn these big numbers, that's what you got to learn how to sell. Now, heading back here, one other thing I'll say about it is cash discount will allow you to have a much better offer, such as giving away free equipment, which we're going to talk about now with the sales process. So you need to come up with a very irresistible offer for these businesses. If you're able to do free equipment, like free Clover POS systems, very expensive, very nice, no contract, no fees, local support, you're going to stand out a lot more than someone like Square, who it's like, yeah, we're going to charge you a ton of money. And if you ever need any help, you're going to have to wait on hold for 2 hours, right? Stands out a lot more than places like that and Toast and the other big names out there. With that said, too, you need to know the other POS systems out there. Like if you walk in somewhere and you see that they're using Square, you need to automatically know that they're having trouble with outages. They can't pass on the fee to the customer. So they're getting killed on their fees. And it's a nightmare for them when they need customer support. So, and that leads me to my next point here, which is like your word tracks. You need to have that down. You need to role play what your sales pitch is going to be. You basically need to know everything like the back of your hand here if you want to find any success. Once you start doing this enough, you're going to know what the business owner is going to say before they even say it. It becomes like another sense for you. It's pretty crazy. Now, you also need to be able to analyze a payment processing statement. So if you've never heard of those, basically it looks a lot like a bank statement. You need to be able to look at it, tell them exactly what their fees are that they're currently paying, show them an analysis of how much you could save them, and then go for the sale. And that's when you got to be ready to overcome objections, because there are always a million reasons why they can't do it. And you need to learn how to sell and overcome all of that. And then from there, you need to play the follow-up game. And trust me, I've signed a lot of deals by following up consistently. If you never give up on them, you can eventually get them. And once you do get them, then you move into the onboarding management phase. So we mostly sell Clover. We also do Valor and SkyTab and some other POS systems out there, but you should know how to install that equipment for them. You don't have to do it for them, but you know that they're going to use it if you're the one that goes in there and sets it up, and you only get paid if they use it. So then you go into the maintenance phase, and if they ever need help here and there, whatever it may be, you're their point of contact for the most part. So be ready to answer their questions, help them out if they need to change their bank account on file, if they have new ownership, whatever it may be. But with that said, I work maybe an hour and a half a week between my 80 or so accounts, and I make over 20 grand a month from it. So now for the fun part, which is actually finding these clients, signing them up, and making some money. So that brings me to the finding clients phase. So way I did this was starting local. I live in Nashville. I just went to all the places around in Nashville. A lot of people I know like cold calling. I've never been a fan of it. I'm not big on Facebook ads, TikTok ads, whatever. I've never found much success with them. All of my residual, for the most part, I have built just from going door to door. I think this is the most straightforward, simple way of doing it. So if I had to start over, that's exactly where I would go. I would recommend starting with businesses that you frequent a lot. You already have a good rapport with them. You maybe know the owner, maybe it's a family friend, whatever it may be. And first thing you need to do when you go there is get the statement. That way you can analyze it like we already talked about, and then come back with a savings proposal. You show them, hey, I'm going to save you this much a month, which is this much a year, this much over 3 years. And then you sign them up and you bring that equipment in and they start using it. You start making money. And once you've shown to them that you are good at what you do, which is saving them money and making their life easier by making their POS situation not such a headache for them, then ask them for referrals. And this has been huge for me. So what I've always done is I give my merchants a $200 bonus for every referral they give me that I close. Now, some people hear that and they're like, oh, okay, cool, sounds good. Others will take that to the damn moon. I had one guy refer me 9 clients. That's like $2 grand a month I make from just the referrals he gave me. So after you install them and you've shown that to them, drop in one day and say, hey, Mr. Merchant, hope everything's going well. Have you been enjoying the service so far? Okay, great. I'm happy that you love it. Then here's where you pull out your pen and your paper. And you say, okay, Mr. Merchant, I'm glad that you've enjoyed it so much. Now, we do have a referral bonus thing we're doing, $200 per client that you refer us. Do you have like 4 or 5 people you could refer me to? Put the pen to the paper and then just wait. And then they're going to start giving you people if you wait long enough. Don't be the first person to talk, and be persistent. If they give you the runaround on that, follow back up with them, try and get more referrals. I'm telling you, the referral game is the best because it can be kind of hard to build trust with these people. And if you get in with people, word of mouth is so valuable. Those inbound leads from referrals are the easiest thing to close. It's like not even a sales pitch. You're like, all right, cool. Yeah, let's sign you up. I'm at the point now where I get like 5 or 6 of those a month without having to do anything. And for me, what's been huge is there's a big Egyptian community in Nashville. And I got in with a couple Egyptian guys and got all their vape stores. They referred me to their cousins, and then their cousin was a partner in that business. And then I got that cousin's other business, and then the referral chain just kept going and going and going. I've probably gotten $5,000 or $6,000 of residual just from referrals within the Egyptian community. And now it's time to scale to 20K a month, and you've made it. So on average, these deals are going to be bringing you $250 a month. All you have to do to get to 20K a month is go out there and sign 80 deals. It's not that hard. It just takes time and some learning in the beginning phases. Like we went over, there's a lot to learn, and I'm going to be posting a lot more here. So if you have anything that stuck out to you and you want to learn more about, just comment that and we'll get to that. As you begin getting better and better at this, you want to start making sure that your time is more and more efficiently spent. So you want to start focusing more on high volume businesses where you can make a lot more money. So rather than just going to those 15K a month little food trucks anymore, you think of it like you're upgrading. Now you're going to the sit down restaurants that are doing 50K plus a month. Keep leveraging those referrals and eventually you're gonna get there. But the beauty of this industry, I will say, even if you're not a great salesman, this industry will pay consistency. So even if you suck at this, you're not great at it, and you can only get 3 accounts a month, no matter how hard you try, that's still $750 a month that your monthly residual is increasing by. So if you do that for 10 months in a row, you're almost making about 100 grand a year, which there are no other industries where you can do numbers like that and not be good at it. But if you are able to get to the level of doing 1 to 2 deals a week, then in less than a year, you are going to be at 20K a month residual. So ultimately, making money in payment processing is not super complicated. In fact, it's very straightforward. There are just some things that you have to learn to do it, and it just takes time. Like I said, consistency is what pays the most in this industry. Just to recap everything, the steps, if you are getting started right now, would be 1, to find an ISO. Make sure that ISO is going to pay you well and support you. Step 2, learn the basics of payment processing. Learn how to read statements, what the different pricing structures look like. Then Go out there and sell, sign some places up, ask for referrals, and start building that book of business. Best part about this industry is that each deal you sign isn't a one-time hit. It actually is adding to your salary every single time. So if you can stay consistent and grow that and grow that and grow that, 12 months from now, you could be in a complete different financial situation than where you are right now. If you want our full A to Z blueprint on how to do all of this and even more, then we do have a program for that over at Payments University, which is also my company outside of Wave Payments. You get access to our full training. You'll have me and my partners in it in your back pocket. You'll be able to call us up, get help with your deals, help closing them. We'll front your equipment costs, and we will make sure that you are successful in this. If that's something you're interested in, check out the link in the description and hop on a call with us.